Mia loved exploring, but Blackwood Creek Swamp was different. It felt watchful. The trees had long, stringy moss. It looked like spooky old beards. The water was dark green, so dark you could not see what lurked beneath its still surface. Her parents told her to stay away. They said it was too dangerous for a young girl. But Mia was curious. She always wanted to know what secrets places held. Today, her curiosity had won. She clutched her flashlight tightly, even though the sun was still high. The air in the swamp was heavy. It was thick with the smell of damp soil, and something else, something musky and strange. Mia wrinkled her nose. Frogs croaked loudly from hidden spots. Insects buzzed past her ears, making her swat them away. Every snap of a twig made her jump. She told herself it was just squirrels, or maybe a raccoon. But a little shiver ran down her spine. She pushed aside a curtain of hanging vines. They felt cool and damp against her skin. Her sneakers squelched in the soft mud. Mia ventured further. The familiar sounds of the town faded away. Now, only swamp noises filled the air. A splash in the distance made her freeze. Her head snapped towards the sound. Was it a fish? Or something bigger? She waited. Her breath caught in her throat. The dark water rippled gently. Then it was still again. Just a fish, she told herself. A big fish, maybe. But the image of unseen things swimming below stayed in her mind, unsettling her. She noticed something strange near the water's edge. A set of tracks, huge tracks, bigger than any animal she knew. Each print was deep in the mud. It had 3 massive toe marks, and long claw marks. Mia leaned closer. Her eyes widened. These were not bear tracks, they were not deer tracks. They looked reptilian, but so big. A cold dread began to creep into her heart. What kind of creature could make such enormous prints? A little further on she saw a broken fishing rod. It was snapped in half. Splintered wood pointed upwards like broken bones. Mia decided to follow the strange tracks. They led her along the water's edge. The path grew narrower. Thick bushes scraped her arms. The smell of decay was stronger here, a rank, musky odor that made her stomach churn. She saw something else. A large, flattened area of reeds, as if something incredibly heavy had rested there, or perhaps waited there. Waited for what, or for whom? The question hung heavy in the humid air. Suddenly a huge shape moved in the water. It was close, too close. Mia gasped. Her heart leaped into her throat. The water swirled. Then, 2 eyes broke the surface. They were cold, yellow, and unblinking, like 2 evil jewels staring right at her. They were not the eyes of any normal alligator. They were too big, too intelligent, too hungry. Mia felt rooted to the spot, her feet like lead weights. She couldn't scream. She couldn't even breathe properly. Slowly, a gigantic snout appeared. It was long and wide, lined with rows of teeth, teeth like daggers, sharp, white, and countless. Then the head. It was massive, covered in thick leathery scales, the color of mud and shadows. This was no ordinary alligator. Mia finally found her legs. She turned and ran. She ran faster than she ever had before. Branches whipped at her face. Roots tried to trip her, but she didn't slow down. Behind her she heard a tremendous splash. Then, a sound like a small tree snapping. The mega alligator was coming. It was moving on land, and it was fast. Unbelievably fast for something so huge. Its heavy footsteps shook the ground with each powerful stride. She didn't dare look back. The sound of its pursuit was enough. The crashing through the undergrowth, the guttural roars that echoed through the swamp. They were getting closer. Mia's lungs burned, her legs ached, tears streamed down her face, blurring her vision. She had to escape. She had to get out of this terrible place. The whispering orchid was forgotten. All that mattered now was survival. The image of those dagger-like teeth filled her mind. The swamp seemed endless, a maze of twisted trees and murky water. Every direction looked the same. Panic began to set in. Where could she go? Where could she hide from such a monstrous creature? It knew this swamp. This was its home, its hunting ground. Mia scrambled into the dilapidated shack. She slammed the rickety door shut and fumbled with the rusty latch. It barely held. The wood of the door was thin, splintered. She knew it wouldn't keep the mega alligator out for long, but it might buy her a few precious seconds, seconds to think, seconds to find another way out, or a place to hide within this crumbling structure. The shack was small, just one room, filled with cobwebs and the smell of mildew. Outside, the mega alligator circled the shack. She could hear its heavy breathing. Its claws scraped against the wooden walls. Thump, thump, Thump! The whole shack vibrated with each impact. Mia pressed herself against the far wall. Her body trembled uncontrollably. She looked around desperately. There was a small, grimy window, too high to reach easily, and probably too small to climb through quickly. There were old sacks piled in a corner covered in dust. A loud crack. The wood of the door splintered. A huge snout poked through the hole. Sniffing. Searching. Mia held her breath. She tried to make herself as small as possible. The yellow eye, cold and reptilian, peered into the dim interior of the shack. It scanned the room slowly. The wall beside Mia suddenly exploded inwards. Wood and mud flew everywhere. A monstrous gaping maw filled the opening. Rows of teeth gleamed menacingly. The mega alligator was breaking through. There was no time left to think. Mia grabbed the rusty axe. It was heavy, unwieldy in her small hands, but desperation gave her strength. She knew this was her only chance. A slim and terrifying one, but a chance nonetheless. She had to fight. As the alligator lunged, Mia swung the axe. She aimed for its eye, the one yellow orb she could see clearly in the dim light. It was a wild swing, a lucky swing. The rusty metal connected with a sickening thud. The mega alligator roared in pain, a sound louder and more terrifying than anything before. It recoiled, shaking its massive head. Dark, thick blood oozed from the injured eye. Mia didn't wait to see what would happen next. She saw her opening. She scrambled through the hole the alligator had made, back out into the swamp. The injured beast was thrashing wildly, smashing what was left of the shack to pieces. Mia didn't look back this time. She just ran. Her heart pounded. Her legs felt like jelly. Mia finally burst out of the tree line. She stumbled onto the familiar dirt road, the one that led back to town. She fell to her knees, sobbing, covered in mud and scratches. But alive. She was alive. The sun felt warm on her skin. The air felt clean. She looked back at the dark, menacing line of trees that marked the edge of Blackwood Creek Swamp. It looked even more sinister now, knowing what it concealed within its depths. A true monster. She never told anyone the full story. Who would believe her? A mega alligator? They would say it was just a nightmare, or a child's overactive imagination. But Mia knew the truth. She had seen it, she had fought it, and she had the scars, both visible and hidden, to prove it. The swamp kept its secret, but she carried it with her, a heavy weight of terror and survival. The whispering orchid remained unfound, its legend now tainted by a far more horrifying reality. Days turned into weeks. Mia avoided Blackwood Creek Swamp. She never went near it again. Sometimes at night she would dream of cold yellow eyes and rows of dagger-like teeth. She would wake up screaming. The townspeople noticed the new deep scratches on the old warning signs near the swamp, and sometimes fishermen reported unusually large disturbances in the water.